Then he kind of goes like, yeah, like last time I was out there, me and my fiance. And I was like, your fiance? Okay, so today I kind of wanted to tell a story. It's really more about like my time over the weekend. I went to a birthday party and I discovered something about myself and how it's probably affecting me in like real time. Oh, lighting. I want to talk about the bare minimum. So over the weekend I went out to Richmond. I still have some friends there, like two of my best friends are there. I was visiting one of them who has a friend that I guess is my friend now too. It was their birthday party. I'm not sure if I was invited or I was just welcome to come, but I went. This story is really not so much about the party, just about really the end of the party. At some point, there are these two people that come to the party, and I'm not sure whether they're like together or they're like just two people that came to the party together, not necessarily as a couple, but just, as friends of friends. I didn't think anything of it because it was just like, these are just two people that I don't know. And eventually we're outside, we're by the bonfire, everybody's having a good time. These two people, they come outside and they're like eating food and they're just like, they're both separated talking to, or I don't even notice, but they're both like sitting. I'm in a chair between them. The girl next to me is talking to somebody. The guy is just sitting there. It wasn't enough for me to go out of my way to talk to him. Nothing bad, just like I just didn't talk to him. All of a sudden, like, I'm just enjoying the party, like I'm just vibing by myself, and then he just starts talking to me and I'm like, oh, okay. Someone has acknowledged my presence. And so like we're talking and he's asking me questions about myself and like what I like to do, like my passions, and I kind of explained to him like, I kind of want to be kind of everything. Then he's just telling me about like what he does and like how he's in the music. He has like a mind in the music. Then he's trying to like explain to me how like I should do this or do that, like helpful advice about like if I'm going to pursue music, then maybe I should look into this or look into that. And I'm like, oh cool. But at some point I'm just like, oh, this guy's probably like hitting on me, and I'm expecting like at some point for him to like ask her like my socials. And then like for me in my head he's just like, oh yeah, like do you have any music out? And I'm like, yeah, I have like a couple songs out. And he asks me my name or like my my stage name, and I tell him, and he looks it up. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow you, and da 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 da. And so by then I'm just like, oh, this guy is like just trying to throw a game on me, da 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 da. Not to say that I was like mad about it, like he was a nice guy, like he wasn't doing anything like gross or anything, but that's just how I perceived that to be happening. It wasn't bad. He was cool. He was really nice. Can't say a bad thing about him. And he talks about, he's like, oh, where are you from? And I'm just like, oh, I'm from where I'm from. Where I'm from. He's like, oh yeah, like I've been there, I've been to the beaches down there. Then he kind of goes like, yeah, like last time I was out there, me and my fiance. And I was like, your fiance? What? And I'm just like, oh, okay. And so then like I'm putting two and two together. The person sitting next to me, they are in fact together. But then I'm just like, so are you hitting on me when she's right there? I was confused. I didn't understand why he was talking to me to such an extent that way when he had somebody who he was like with. And looking back, like he wasn't necessarily like blatantly flirting with me, like telling me that I was pretty or like da 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 da, or like asking me out like on a date. He was just talking to me, but he was asking me like a lot of questions like about myself. Like he was being really, really nice to me. If you get what I'm saying, don't get ahead of me because I'm gonna get to that. And eventually, like he had to get up and talk to his fiance at some point. I just assumed the conversation was over after that, and I kind of just like kept going on with the night. But I didn't forget that, how like, what is this weird feeling that I'm feeling? Like, why was that weird to me? I was just trying to figure it out. It wasn't until later where like, the party was kind of winding down, people were starting to leave or whatever, where some of us like, we roll a blunt and we go down to the basement to have like, like a That 70s Show type of moment.
So is Red still thinking about giving you the car, maybe? Even if we do get it, we're gonna need some serious gas money because the cruiser's a boat.
I know it's a boat. This whole gas shortage bites.
Who's getting a boat?
And like people are talking and we're smoking, and like I don't really smoke that much, but when I'm around like cool people, like I feel like relatively safe. Like I'm cool with doing that. So like I smoked a little bit and it was like some stuff. So I was like, I exited from the circle immediately, but I was still like present. And then I was just kind of sitting there and kind of thinking about, that conversation again. And I was just like, why did I think that like he was flirting with me? Because he never like talked to me other than like him saying like, oh, sorry to end our conversation earlier so abruptly. And I was just like, whatever. I didn't, it wasn't really that deep, but I was wondering like, why did I think that he was hitting on me? Because now I feel like I don't think it was that. It's like, then why was he talking to me like that? Like, why was he so nice, and why was he so like interested in like what I like to do and stuff like that? And then I started to think about other moments in my life where I've had, the best way for me to understand things is like comparing like other moments that were similar. I started to realize that like whenever I go to like a place, specifically more so out in Richmond, and I'm like hanging out with people, I always kind of leave kind of feeling like everybody likes me. I kind of think I'm gonna say this, but like I know it's like dramatic, but I just kind of feel like everyone's in love with me, and I'm thinking that like they're interested in me, but then when nothing happens, I just like, oh, maybe they were just like too nervous to say anything. But also when people are talking to me and trying to be like invested with me, I do tend to turn on this little like, oh, you're interested in me, this is fun. And I could not actually be interested in them. I just like the fact that I feel like I'm getting that type of attention, or I just like that type of attention in general. And so as I'm realizing that like I always feel this way, I always feel like people really, really like me, and then I'm confused when nothing kind of blossoms off of that. It's not like I'm necessarily sad, but I am confused. Like, oh, I thought you were gonna ask for like my number, or oh, I thought you were gonna like ask me out on a date, and I'm kind of disappointed by that, but like not really, because I was never really quite actually interested in them to begin with. And as I was sitting there in the basement with everybody else thinking about that, I was just like, are these people in love with me, or do they just give the bare minimum? And what I mean by that is like, I guess I'm kind of like real time still processing that, but it was just like all these people at some point I thought liked me, or like mid-key like in love with me, because they were just nice to me. The guy who I had the conversation with earlier, the one with the fiance, we were just sitting next to each other not saying anything, but maybe he was just sparking conversation because we were sitting next to each other. Just like, not to say like being nice, like he didn't want to talk to me, but it was just like just getting to know another person in a friendly way. As I was just realizing all this, it kind of blew my mind, and then it made me feel like, oh my gosh, do I not know what the bare minimum is? It's like these are things that I actually feel like I already knew, but you don't know until you know, if that makes sense. I think like I already knew that I didn't know what the bare minimum was, and I'm gonna relate this to like my romantic like relationships, because that's like the best way that I can in my head. I always knew that like, well, I didn't always know, but like lately I've realized that like I've never had a healthy relationship with a person outside of like, well, in terms of romance, and most but not all of my friendships, it's just never been healthy. I realized that like at some point I'm gonna get a healthy relationship, and I'm not gonna know what that looks like. And in my head I always assumed that like that healthy relationship was going to be romantic. I've been coming across these social circles with my friend and her friend and like their friends, and this whole time I've been thinking that like these people like are interested in me romantically, and I'm realizing these are just nice people, able to just like talk to people without any expectations, or they can be genuinely interested in me as a human being. There's nothing that I necessarily need to provide them to like me. They just like me, and I'm not used to that. is what I realized in that moment. I'm not used to people just liking me because I'm me. Like, I'm used to people needing me or wanting something out of any interaction with me. Otherwise, it's just like people don't talk to me. And I'm also realizing that that's how like most of my relationships have been. I would be funny, you know, like I'm funny and I would tell jokes and I would do silly things and people liked that. And then once I tried to like get close to them like as myself, that wouldn't really translate, and that was disappointing. I think I was definitely their token. I definitely had funny attributes about me, but other than that, I don't think that they actually liked me. With like men, I feel like a lot of them liked my nurturing quality, but they didn't like me. I think, you know, they liked that I cared, but they didn't like me. Or they saw how cool I was and how cool I presented myself in the beginning to attract people, and they wanted to be near that, and they thought that I had like, and I think this is back when I was putting up more of a front of like who I was. Like I had like a front of like, oh, I have like my own place, I have my own interests, and I have these interests that I don't really do. And so it's just like I have all these things kind of like on paper, but like no real substance. Dang. I'm just realizing like I'm processing a lot in real time. So like as I'm talking, I'm like thinking about me. Like I was pretty much a poser. But yeah. Like I felt like they were just attracted to the aesthetic of me. I don't know. And then like when I tried to get close to them, it was just like it's always like I like the idea of you, just like not actually you. Bang. And so it's just like I feel like I haven't had anybody genuinely like wanna be close to me other than the fact that I'm funny, I'm nurturing, and that I can like care about you, and that like I look cool. And so in that space with those people, I'm realizing that those people were actually nice to me because they were nice to me, because they wanted to be nice to me. I mean, there was no reason for them to be mean to me. I hadn't done anything to them. And I wanted to remember what I was feeling in that moment, because this is it. This is what it looks like, and I didn't think I was going to receive it in that way. But I was going to realize that this is what the bare minimum looks like. And it's hitting me like this just because before, the last person I was dealing with, for example, it was just like they would frustrate me because I cut them off like twice. And the first time I cut them off, it was, you don't respect me as an individual. Like, you don't care about how I feel and how you treat me, and how the way you treat me like affects me. And that's why I don't want to be around you. You don't even treat me like you like me. And their response to that was just like, why would I treat you like that? We're not in a relationship. I thought that was stupid, because I was just like, why do we have to be in a full committed relationship for you to treat me well? Like, why is that a thing? And now I'm realizing that I felt the same way too. I didn't even realize it, that I had that mindset, and it didn't, ever hit me until that party, was that people aren't going to be interested in you unless they can see value in you. I do think I still need to have like my own lane and my own world for someone to kind of want to be a part of, instead of me trying to be like part of their world. But in terms of like value, yes, I want someone to benefit from like my presence, but just like I want to be the benefit, not like what I have or like what I'm doing be the benefit. Like me as myself, I want to be the benefit. Basically, I feel like after I figured that out, it raised my bar for people. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but it's just like, let's say that, dang, I wish I had something to write on. Hold on. Okay, so I hope you can see this. This is the bare minimum. Okay, that's the line. This is a different graph. But so this is like, you see this -5? This is like from 0 to -5, that's like the bare minimum and below. This line right here, this is the bare minimum. This line 0 is the bare minimum. So I think this is like me before this high epiphany, because I was high. This is how I'm coming in. If people give me the bare minimum, I think you are interested in me. So I'm floating right here at 0. Now I know that that's not the case. You should be showing me something like decent, or like in this 5+, which is I like you. Even greater. I don't know. This is just like a rough little chart that I made. But I hope this is helpful. If we're here at the bare minimum, I think that you like me. And what happens is that I meet you at the bare minimum, or whoever I'm dating, doesn't have to be you. Unless you want it to be you. I'm here at the bare minimum. I think you like me. I'm like, oh, this guy's interested in me, or this person's interested in me. And then what happens is somehow, and let's say I had to take the mic out so I could just speak more candidly without worrying about that. If, you know, this line going upwards is... Okay, this is a few days later. I had to stop editing. I got so irritated because I was trying to like match up, because I feel like you guys definitely couldn't see that, or not see it well. And I wanted to like, I still want to do the chart, even though like it's kind of shitty, but like I still want to do the chart, trying to get the words to match up. It was a lot. So I remade the chart, and it's gonna be still, and we're gonna go over it together, and I'm gonna let you know what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is the chart. I hope that y'all can read that. I feel like my handwriting is very legible, so I know it's a little bit wonky right here, but that's because I smeared it, but you can definitely see, like, if you know, you know. So like I said, this 0 over here, that's the bare minimum line. And the way that I've been functioning for probably like most of my childhood and like my early adult years is that I don't usually get the bare minimum, so I've just been functioning around here. And if you know, you know, IDGAF, you know, I don't give a fuck. Or IDC. I had IDC in the original chart, but it's just like I don't care. But really this is what I'm going for. It's like, you know, either like you don't, or it could be slash. Actually, hold on. Okay, it's poopy, but it's there. It's either I don't give a fuck about you, or I don't care about you, or like I don't like you. But more times than not, it's like I don't care about you. So this is where I've been functioning. It's just like less, definitely less than the bare minimum. Like just less, okay? Let's go back to the example of the dude at the party. So I'm used to this area right here. He provided me with the bare minimum. Means that he just gave me general like human decency, like he respected me as a person. You know, he was cool, you know, nice guy. So when I get this, I think that we're here. I'm sorry, it keeps focusing, but you're with me. We're here. He's giving me this, and I'm thinking it's this. Why? Why do I think that is? It's because when you are used to nothing, any of this is going to be deemed as this. Even the lowest, the bare minimum, can be seen as this. So we could be I like you. Somebody could be like, I like you, and I think that, oh my god, you're in love with me, and it might be actually too much for me. You could treat me decent and be like, oh my gosh, you really like me, like you want to marry me. And you could even give me this, and I'm gonna think that you like me. If you're used to this area, even the bare minimum will feel like they like you. And that's really it. That's the chart. So yes, I went to a party. and I discovered what the bare minimum was, because someone's talking to me and was kind to me, and I thought that they were in love with me. And now I know that they were just showing me the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is literally just treating somebody like a human being. Treating somebody with respect. Being conscious of their thoughts and feelings and how their behaviors can affect others. And being mindful of that. Mind blown. I'm still mind blown. And that makes me kind of sad for myself. But it also makes me kind of make peace with a lot of earlier situations where I didn't understand. And now I know why. So, I hope that was educational for you. I hope you guys enjoyed my charts. The first one was kind of trash. Maybe the second one was also trash. But, yeah. I'm actually going to go ask my mom if she understands the chart. My mom understood the chart. Okay, well, I actually have to go to work because this is not making me money as of yet. So I gotta hit the road. Thanks for watching. Bye.